Well, I'd like to share with you how to securely collaborate in the clouds. The Jericho Forum has been considering the implications of cloud computing. First, classify your data. Determine what rules must apply to it. Must it only exist in the specific trust levels? For example, can it leave Europe? Does it have to stay in safe harbors? Must it stay in Europe? We need a set of universal data classification models, some recognized trust level standards, and some standard metadata that can signal to the cloud computing security frame the data's security needs. Then you need to decide, do you want to move to the clouds? Not all of your information computing needs need to occur in a cloud model. Some can actually continue, and in fact probably would preferably continue in a traditional cloud model. Then decide what data you want to allow into the clouds, with what degree of translucency. And by translucency, I mean degree of cloudiness. For all the clouds are not equal. Imagine at one side on the right that this is full-on cloud, where massively scalable, fully automated system redundancy and a number of other features are actually available, whereas to the left it's more traditional. There's a degree of cloudiness that you can actually deliver, and that's another decision to be made. Then decide what level you want to operate in the clouds. It's here where you start to recognize that abstraction can occur at a number of different levels. The majority of abstraction is currently occurring between the platform and the infrastructure. That's to say the operating system is sitting on servers that are virtual in the clouds and using data which is stored virtually in the cloud. So the infrastructure is actually being abstracted at the platform level. The next level, the second level, is between software and the platform and infrastructure layer, and the third between the process layer and all below. And the final level, outcome and value, is a level of abstraction which is happening very rarely. Abstraction is a key element of cloud computing. On the left, you can see orchestration is required to be able to automate and to manage the abstraction. And to the right, in this cloud layer model, you can see that security and identity and access management are two very key features. Having decided what layer of abstraction, you then decide which form of cloud you want to move to. The cloud forms are actually split into a number of different frames. There are internal clouds and external clouds. Internal clouds are often recognized in things like virtual data centers, where you're starting to have virtual storage internally in your data center, or virtual operating systems operating internally in your organizations. There are a number of organizations delivering services in that frame, VMware being an example of that. External clouds are actually where you're starting to see organizations like Amazon deliver both storage as well as servers. Another form of cloud is the proprietary or open model. Again, that split is between those proprietary services and those open services. The majority of cloud services to date are actually proprietary, with a number of them wanting to move towards a more open frame. This leaves us with four different cloud forms: external proprietary, internal open, and external open. That's not the most important thing, though, to understand about cloud computing. The Jericho Forum has been considering that actually one of the most important things is the decision to actually use the cloud in a perimeterized or deperimeterized frame. The perimeterized frame is that which we've been traditionally thinking about, of building a wall around our enterprises and ensuring that everything on the inside is safe and assuming that everything on the outside is unsafe. Those of you who've been following the Jericho Forum frame will have understood that deperimeterization is occurring to you whether you like it or not, and will have already read the collaboration-oriented architecture and Jericho Forum commandments. If you do start to follow those commandments and use that architecture, it's possible that you can start to consider how to operate inside the cloud in a deperimeterized frame, which enables you to collaborate effectively in the clouds. Those 4 cubes then at the front are those cubes which are actually defined by the external, internal, proprietary and open frame, and they are all deemed to be perimeterized. The most exciting part of the cloud is how to actually move to that top right back corner where you're operating in an open, external, deperimeterized frame. How to make those decisions about which part of the cube that you want to operate in or which cloud form you want to operate in is going to be a key decision between business partners, business process owners and the IT departments. It's important also to recognize that you will need to be able to move easily between the cloud forms. So we need inter-cloud standards. I've called these information programming interfaces. There has to be a better name. There are also some pathways between the clouds that are going to be easier to achieve than others. So for instance, moving between the back of the cloud, between proprietary and open, is likely to be more complex than making those decisions where you're in a perimeterized frame internally. So start making decisions about the path you want to take to get to the various parts of the cloud, and don't find yourself trapped in one part of the cloud which is difficult to extract yourself from. So these 8 cubes represent all of the cloud forms. The differentiation of external and internal, proprietary and open, and most importantly, perimeterized and deperimeterized forms of clouds. And as an IT leader, your responsibility is to work with your business to understand which of the cloud forms, which parts of your organization need to be using to deliver most value at the right degree of risk. And then ensure the controls you require are available in the clouds. And the unfortunate thing at the moment is cloud computing doesn't actually represent the most secure environment. It's a very immature environment. Cloud Security Central doesn't yet exist. The immature frame is starting to improve around platform and infrastructure, and we're starting to see orchestration layers and orchestration tools occurring in that domain. But unfortunately, security and identity and access management are still very immature in the cloud computing frame, especially as it comes to being able to collaborate between enterprises. We haven't yet identified all the needs in the cloud computing environment. For example, we haven't got the cloud identity services or the cloud providers. There are a number of tools and services that need to be identified and developed for the cloud to be able to add the value at the right degree of risk that we need as organizations.